Welcome to Podnutz Daily, episode number 349. This is the show where computer repair technicians come on and they give other people like you, possibly computer repair techs yourself, tips and tricks, stories, ideas, anything that can help you guys in your own businesses or your own computer repair endeavors. So today we're going to do it again with a guest, his first-time guest. I'm happy to have him on. I'm excited to talk to him. Actually, is Keith, the computer guy. It's Keith Gordon. How's it going, Keith?
Hey, it's going good. How about you?
Doing awesome, man.
Nice. That's good to hear. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. And your website is keiththecomputerguy.com.
Yes, sir.
Very cool. Well, why don't you tell the people here listening who you are and what you do, and then I'll start pumping you with some questions that I have for you.
Okay, cool. Well, of course, my name is Keith Gordon. I'm 22 years old. I opened up my first computer shop at 21. Pretty much, quick story. I was in college. I had 3 more classes left to graduate with my associates in computer networking, and I caught senioritis. Between me going to school and also working for a not-for-profit teaching high school students how to refurbish computers and fixing computers in my room, all of that in one, I was getting about 3 to 4 hours of sleep for about 3 hours straight. For about 3 years straight. And I just decided a couple of months before I would be done with school to just quit. So I ended up quitting school. That's freed up a whole lot of my time, and I just pretty much partied for about 2 months, and then I just realized I needed to do something with myself, and I just decided to open up the business. I felt like this was my opportunity. I had some money saved up, and I really had a lot of free time. So first thing I did was I started looking around and scouting and driving around, and I ended up finding a spot like fairly close to my house. It worked out really well, and my parents somehow knew the landlords, and I didn't have to do credit checks or anything like that. I just had to, hand them over the check, and that was it.
So you got a storefront?
Yes, I have a storefront.
That's pretty cool that you just jumped into computer repair and just opened up the shop.
Yep. Yeah. I had originally about 3 years prior, I had been, going to people's houses, picking up their computer, dropping it off, stuff like that.
Okay. So you were doing that too. I gotcha.
Yeah. So I was a mobile tech, but I wasn't giving people receipts or anything. And I wasn't, it was just like nuke and wipe. That was it. Here you go.
Yeah. So it was kind of a business, but not really a legit full business like you have now. Yeah,
exactly.
Now, I'm going to go back a little bit. So what were you majoring in school?
Computer networking.
Computer networking. Mm-hmm. And then you got senioritis, huh?
Yeah, I caught senioritis.
I know that feeling, man. I know that feeling. And but still, even though you didn't finish that, you are still able to be a computer repair tech and still get the knowledge. See, basically, I'm not trying to bash college because I dropped out too. I'm just saying, there's so much you can learn just by experience and the internet that unless somebody actually needs a degree from you, you don't really have to have one to be a successful businessman.
No.
Yeah. So I'm kind of with you on that boat.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that while I was going to school, I would argue with my teachers a lot because these guys were like PowerPoint slide freaks. Like I went through the Cisco Networking Academy, and the teacher used PowerPoints the entire 2 semesters, and the people in there knew nothing once the class was over. Me, on the other hand, I already had experience, so it was like it was interesting for the ones who actually did complete school. I still had them beat by a couple of years.
Right, as far as your experience, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I'm telling you, it's really. I said it before. The best way to learn how to do something is start a business doing it. You are forced into it.
Yeah, you are. You have no choice. You want it to work, especially when you incorporated or LLC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you do? You opened up your shop. You just moved all your stuff in, opened up the doors, and then what did you do? Like, how did you get it rolling?
So pretty much I got the keys. First thing was first. I was already an LLC, about 4 months prior.
Okay.
So I got my business bank account, and then after that, I went down to the city hall, got the business license, but they really didn't take me too serious because 22-year-old walking in there. And it was really funny. Like they gave me a bit of a hassle, but
what was their reason? What did they do?
well, they just didn't take me serious. The clerks at the place, they were just like, oh, where's your mom at? We need this, we need that. But luckily, before I had went down there, I had did the research on what I needed. So I was already set. Like they asked for operating agreements and bank accounts, and they wanted they wanted the EIN number, and I had all of that stuff already printed out ready.
Nice.
I have copies. Like there was no reason they can tell me no. So I just blew it. I just blew past with flying colors.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, and from there I just started. I started to think, okay, what was next? I pretty much took a what was next mentality with the business. Once I got that, it was like, okay, what's next? Oh, I need an awning. Then I found some awning company. And then I was like, okay, what's next? I need a logo. I ended up doing going to 48-hour logos, and I told them my vision. I told them my favorite color was red and white. And and I was just starting, and I told them I wanted it to be Keith the Computer Guy, and I say about a week later, I had over 100 submissions, and I picked the one I like, had the guy change it up a little bit, and that was a logo. That was the best $100 I ever spent.
Wow, you had how many submissions?
About 100.
Wow, it's like people lining up to give you a logo.
Yeah, and you could actually see the sample. So it really taught me that, doing business online wasn't as evil and creepy as people thought it was. I actually like that approach better versus like you getting recommended to somebody and then they end up sucking.
Yeah.
And you already gave them a deposit or something.
Totally. That's a smart way to do it. What's the name of that site?
48-hour logos.
It's a great tip, man. All right, so you got your logo. Then what?
Yeah. So I get the logo. I got the awning. Then I just was like, okay, how am I going to keep track of these computers? Then that's how I stumbled upon TechNibble. And the first post I saw was a post by a Corvette girl, and what was she talking about? She was talking about her operations manual. So it was the first thing I bought.
Sweet.
I bought that, and then I bought the TechNibble business kit, and I just started reading those over and over. And then I was stuck in between PC Repair Tracker or M Help Desk or QuickBooks. And originally I wanted to be cheap and just use QuickBooks, or and then I started to think about I have to make this scalable. I have to think scalable early, so it'll be easier to transition. And I ended up getting PC Repair Tracker. And it was easy to set up because I already knew a little bit about my SQL databases and PHP. So it took a couple of hours, but once you get it up and going, it was smooth.
How much does that cost?
It was $200.
Ain't too bad. And it's able to be scaled. It's scalable.
Yeah, I mean through the gate, it has everything you need. You can enter the customer's information, first, last name, address, email. You can print out an asset label so you can keep track of it, so nobody can be like, oh, this is a computer you fixed. You could be like, no, where's the label at? Or you can track it based off a serial number, or you can even put the product key in. So just in case, a lot of times people have computers and the product key kind of gets smeared off over the years, so you can kind of keep that for them.
Nice.
It had built-in credit card processing. It could integrate with PayPal or Authorize.net or Sage Payments. It had everything you need. It had everything I needed to get started.
Very cool. Awesome. All right, so you got that in place. You open up, and the shop's open at this point, right?
Yep. At this point, the shop is open. And also I ended up just buying a couple of. I bought 2 tables from IKEA, and I found some table on a thrift store up north, or on the north side of Chicago. Really nice table, and I got a cash register, keyboard, mouse, computer, and then I brung all of my CDs up there from home, and that was it. And, I was ready to rock and roll.
Was
Uh,
it on a good street, like a good location?
it was next door to a beauty salon.
Okay,
Uh, and pretty much the whole strip is there's a couple businesses, maybe like 6 or 7, but not too much, not too much walking
I
traffic.
got you. I
Not
got you.
too much. A little bit, but not as much as all of the other major streets in Chicago.
I see. How much is your rent, if you don't mind me asking?
The rent is 800 a month.
That's fair. I mean, because I mean, we'll talk about your site in a minute, but I saw your shop on your site, and it looks good. That's definitely worth the money.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So then what happened? What I wanted to know is, like, once you opened the doors, were you expecting people to drive by and see it, or how did you to get people in the door?
Well, when I first opened the doors, I was expecting people to just start flooding in. Just like people, I was gonna be hammered and the phone was gonna ring in, but the first month it was just like, oh my God, I'm ready to quit.
Oh, dude.
I was ready. I was like, oh, I'm throwing a towel in. Plus, I was on like my last grand. I had put so much money into the business, and it
Right.
still wasn't how I wanted it. Um, but what ended up happening was that all of my all of my friends and my family members started to take me a little bit more serious on computer repair. So I ended up getting a lot of them to come into the shop. People I had already knew started to slowly come in. Because they had heard through the grapevine, I don't know how, that I had opened up a computer shop. I really wasn't trying to tell anybody because I was afraid I would fail.
Yeah.
I just kind of was kind of just like a last minute, let's do it, impulsive type of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, everybody took me more serious. People the first month I made 500, and then the next month it doubled, and then it just kept growing from there. Um,
Damn. So now it's paying the bills, right?
Yep. So now it's paying the bills. One of the best things I think for me that sets me apart from all the other computer shops in Chicago is that all the computer shops in Chicago are pretty much owned by Chinese people, um, and there's somewhat of a language barrier, you know.
Right.
Um, it's there's somewhat of a language barrier, and also they've been around for a while. A lot of them. There's a big franchise out here that has like 10 stores, and they treat the customers. They don't treat them too good, you know.
Right.
So it's kind of like me. I'm this young, friendly kid. I'm pretty much new to all of it. So I'm doing everything to please the customer. I'm
Right.
jumping through hoops. I'm answering the phone immediately. I can answer all of the questions. I'm patient. So that alone drew in a lot of customers. I think that, and also my prices were, when I first started out, they were very low. Like
Yeah.
I was charging what, like $20 to take off passwords, like $60 to wipe the OS clean. All the prices were
Take off
random.
passwords. Was that a big demand in your area?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I don't ask any questions. It was
I don't ask any questions. I had to stop you there because I worked in a pawn shop and there was a lot of password removal I had to do. All right, we'll look past that.
right.
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you mean as far as language barrier. I actually put on my site, "We speak English." I put that on my website when I had my shop, and more than a few times, people said, "You know why I came in your shop? Because you said we speak English." That is, they actually told me that.
Wow.
So it's a button for people. It's okay. I mean, I have nothing against somebody who doesn't know English, but
Of course.
it's just a button for business in America. If it's good to speak English, and people want
Yeah,
that. So
yeah, they do, and they do. They want somebody who they can talk about the Bulls, the Bulls game or something with, in
exactly.
between. So that really helped.
Cool. So your prices were low, and then what happened?
Yep.
You started
So
not working too hard, not making enough.
Well, I started to know as I started to research more. I